What's up, guys, and welcome back to the DualSense podcast. This is episode 40, a nice even 40. I am one of your co-hosts, Jason. I'm joined not as always, but nine times out of 10 by my co-host, Travis. What's good? What's going on?
Man, I saw the number 40. That's a big number. I saw it come across the screen today. It's a 40. I got 444 Magnolia Street.
It is a big number. That's, if in adult life, we're creeping up on 40. 40 is kind of like when everything starts going downhill. You have a crisis and, life doesn't mean as much anymore, right? Or is that 50?
Right. I think it's 40. I mean, the other day I woke up. Not when I woke. What did I do the other day? Oh, I stood up to go get a drink and my back hurt. So I think it might be starting early for me.
Yeah, I get it. I mowed the lawn for the first time this year tonight, and after about 2 minutes and 47 seconds of weed eating, my lower back hurt.
Right.
So, that's not a good sign. It's not a good sign, but mowing the lawn is certainly not any fun to begin with, but definitely not if you're hurting yourself. So,
speaking of, I know it's a PlayStation podcast, but I want to talk about the big Xbox exclusive that came out today.
Oh, okay.
It's a lawnmower simulator.
Oh, yeah. Hell
Let's
yeah.
drive sales. They're going to get at least 12 sold in Japan now, instead of the 9 that they've sold.
This week, the 9 Xbox Series X they sold this week. Yeah, they're going to sell 12 instead of 9. Those,
by the way, the release trailer they have for this mowing game, those mowers, first of all, are real, and I looked them up. Those mowers are like $14K.
Yeah, that's. Did you watch the entire trailer?
Yeah, why would I not? How could you not watch the whole trailer? Did you watch the whole thing?
Yeah, did you see the part where they were like mowing the like castle grounds or whatever, or like the mowers were out in front of the castle grounds? Like,
Right.
It's just there's something going on right now with like simulation games, because remember, well, maybe it's on this episode, I don't remember, but there's all kinds of these simulation games popping up.
Right,
so
right.
There's something going on there. I guess
niche.
everybody's like seen Farming Simulator and everybody's seen Farming Simulator and seen how well it sells every year that they make one. And I mean, Farming Simulator is not a bad game. I played one because I think it was like a PS Plus game or something last year, so I have one of them. It's not bad. It's, I mean, as somebody who likes simulation and management games, but for somebody who doesn't dabble in one of those things, it'd probably make them break their console. So anyway, Travis, this is a weekly podcast where I promise that we get together each and every week to discuss all of the news, rumors, new game releases, and a little bit more in the world of PlayStation. We post new episodes every Monday, and you can find us on Twitter if you want to talk with us at the DualSense Pod, or if you want to check out some of our game streams or clips. And also, you can listen to the new episodes every week on YouTube. You can find us at the DualSense Podcast on there. And without further ado, Travis, talk to me about what you've been playing this past week.
All the normal fun stuff. I made an Australian FIFA Youth Challenge team.
Oh, yeah.
I saw a guy on the Reddit that had done that, or not done that, but he had made a run with an Australian team. So that got me that piqued my interest. So I started one with Adelaide United, and I also enjoy that I can say all the teams, unlike in the Scottish League. And also in the Scottish one I was doing, even though I won all that stuff, the Europa League, the UEFA Champions League, all that fun stuff, I didn't qualify for it the next year because I didn't. When you finish your season, you make the top 6, and I think you have to win or come in second in that second season, quote unquote, to qualify for these play-in games for the Champions League. Well, since I already won the league, I just simulated those games, and of course, I got cock smashed all of those. I lost every one of them, so I didn't qualify, even though I won the league by 30 points or something stupid. I didn't qualify, so I took a little bit of ink out of my pen. So messed around with Australia, and like what I did with the Australian one was, as soon as I got a guy out of position, I started him. It didn't matter how good he was. So I start like 4 guys in the 40s. They're awful. It's really hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard. The best part is I finally got a striker who's decent, but the other one's still like a 44. And sometimes like you'll have a wide open goal, like you'll get a 2-on-1 or something, and you'll kick it with him, and you don't know where it's going. It can go anywhere. It can go anywhere in
Perfect.
the world. It's like Carmen San Diego. You don't know where the hell it's going. So anyway,
I bet his finishing is probably like a 30.
yeah, I think it's like a 30 or 43, something like that.
Perfect.
Whatever. It's fun though.
Hitting Nana in the stands.
Yeah, I'm trying to that actually is the best, table I've seen on the game, like, as far as closest goes with the top 12, like, I think
Yeah.
I'm in 6th right now, and I'm only, like, 6 points out of 1st, and then there's a
Jeez.
gap underneath me that's probably 9 points, 9 or 12, and then those 6 are really close together, so it's pretty interesting, I like that, 'cause usually it's like there's one team chasing you that's always one game worse than you, is what I've kinda noticed.
Right.
But anyway, other than that, we had some fun on Battlefield. We got to play Solomon Islands again, which was a lot of fun. And we had I should have clipped it. We had an accidental epic moment where you had died, and I was trying to save you, and you were just telling me where people were around me,
Yeah.
and I was in the weeds, like
Yeah. You were. They
in
were
I was
talking.
laying down. There, yeah, and you were just yelling out the call signs. You're like 10 o'clock, and I'm spinning around, doming. I ran out of ammo on my M1, switched over to my pistol, and pistoled 2 dudes, and I was reloading and almost killed it. I killed like 5 guys, almost got 6,
You did.
and it
You
reminded
did. You
me of
almost had
women.
6.
It reminded me of when women are like, "You guys can't do anything, but you can you can play Call of Duty or whatever." I was like, "Hell yeah."
Yeah, you can't communicate, but you can do 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Yeah, you're 7. Yeah. I almost
Yeah,
got
I'm
you all
just
the way through
spinning
that
around.
situation, but yeah, I almost got you through it, but alas. Well, I also played FIFA this week. Is that all you've played? Just those two?
Yeah, that's all I played.
Yeah. So I also played FIFA this week. I don't after you did your Australian thing the other night, it kind of inspired me to do the same thing. I think I made one with MacArthur FC, which is that team in the Australian league that only existed as of last year, 2020. They have really cool uniforms. They have like a bull like silhouette on it. It's pretty awesome. So I'm just trying to work my way through that and scout a bunch of guys, but I still enjoy the Scottish one that I've done the best. So
Mhm,
I'll probably go back to that one because I've still got, Santiago who just made it up to the senior team from my academy. So we've got a lot of young guys to look forward to that I like playing with. And then, like you said, we played Battlefield, mix that in, of course, and I enjoy it quite a bit. It's not really
mhm.
fading for me,
Right,
it wasn't a flash in the pan, which is good. So it makes me even more excited for the one later this year. Then the last thing that
right.
I've been playing this week, other than some random Vita games, is Fuser, which is that like DJ music festival game from the guys who did the Guitar Hero games, and
Mhm,
just I don't know, just wanted to play it again, so I re-downloaded it and I'm working my way. It has a campaign, so I'm working my way through that, and I'm not good at the game. Like they do the star thing, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars, whatever. If you remember that, I've
mhm.
pretty much always get 2 or 3 stars and randomly will get 4 stars, but I'm not good at the game. I was not good at Guitar Hero either. Like 3 or 4 stars was pretty much my thing on Guitar Hero. So, but it's fun, man. I don't know. It's just something that you don't have to like really think about. You can just sit there and do it. So, that's pretty much it. It's kind of a slow period here before the end of April. But with that, let's jump into the news here. We got a pretty decent little week here, and I'm pretty proud of the episode title there.
It is amazing. It's one of your best it's some of your best work.
Yeah, yeah, based off the first news story here, which is number one. Jin Sakai will be making his way to the big screen, courtesy of Sony's film division and Ghost of Tsushima developer Sucker Punch Productions. Nate Fox from Sucker Punch announced the news on the PlayStation blog on Thursday, where he also revealed that John Wick director Chad Stahelski has joined the project to direct the Ghost of Tsushima film. Fox also shared that Ghost of Tsushima has sold 6.5 million copies to date, and that roughly half of those who have played the game have finished it, which is a staggering number for any game. There was no word on an anticipated release date, but the film is sure to be years off as development is just getting started. So, this is big
Mhm.
news. What do you think?
Man, this is of all the video game TV shows and movies we've gotten in the last 18 months, I guess, seems like we've had a lot
Hmm.
of news. This is obviously I'm the most excited about this one because I love the game, but the
Yeah,
director matchup couldn't be better. I mean, they
right.
knocked it out of the park. I can't believe he agreed. I can't believe they thought of that. I mean, I feel like me and you had we've had a conversation before about, you know, man, can you imagine this game with such and such? We may have even talked about doing this with the John Wick guy
Yeah.
before. That feels familiar. So if you're talking about a first step, I would say it's an A plus. It's exciting. It's perfect. It makes sense. Um, I guess the next step I'm excited about is who the actors are.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of have a couple of thoughts. Like, the guy that played Jin Sakai, his name is Daisuke something.
Dice K.
Daisuke,
Dice K. And the only
is it Daisuke?
Dice K and the only
Whatever.
yeah, Dice K. The only reason I know that is because do you remember Dice K Matsuzaka who played for the Red Sox?
Oh
Like
yeah.
probably like 15 years ago. Yeah.
Mhm. So my question would be, do you think that they go with obviously a lot of this was motion cap. Do you think they keep these actors that did this because they already know the characters? They did the voice work. They've already done the acting, the emotions, or is that too niche? And do they move on and try to get bigger names? Like, what Japanese actor or actress plays Jin Sakai? Like, the only one I could think of is the guy from Hawaii Five O. I don't even know his name.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about, but I don't know either. A lot of people online, on Twitter today, I saw they want the guy, the Dice K guy who played him to do it. And did you see the tweet where he said that if he said I'm putting it in there on the record right now, if I get cast to be Jin in the live action movie, I absolutely agree to do butt nudity.
Yeah,
Because the
that's
scene from
good.
like the hot springs or whatever. I don't know,
Right.
man. I don't think that they'll get I don't think they'll get those guys, any of the motion cap actors to
Hmm.
do it. I just don't think there's a precedent for that. So, and I think they're going to want to have some like oomph behind it, like a big name, because they've got to
Right.
do something, I guess, because the people who like the game are already going to go see the movie. So they've got to do something to get the other people who have no idea
Mhm.
that it's a game. They've got to get them in the door and in the seat too. So they're going to get somebody
Tom
who's
Cruise is Jin Sakai.
he was the last samurai. He can do this. I don't know.
Yeah,
They've got
that's
to
true.
they've got to get somebody. So I don't know. I don't know, and I don't mean any offense by this, but I don't know any like well known like Asian actors or
Right.
that would do that. I mean, Jackie Chan's long gone, and I don't think
Mhm.
he could do a film like that. And so I don't know, but it's
He could be
exciting. I mean,
I was gonna say Jackie Chan could play the sensei with the arrows. He's old.
oh yeah, true. Yeah, I could see that. That's actually not a bad idea since he's an older guy. But it's exciting. I mean, they when I saw the news, I came in and told you that they got the fucking John Wick director to do a Ghost of Tsushima movie. Like it couldn't be more perfect because you can just envision, what type of movie it's going to be, and it really, I mean, it couldn't get any better because the action's so frenetic and all the sword fighting is in the way it is in the game. So
Mhm.
it's the perfect director in my mind for that, and it's exciting news. We're probably 3 or 4 years away from seeing the movie though. Hopefully
Yeah, at
this isn't
least.
like the Uncharted thing. Yeah, hopefully this isn't like the Uncharted movie that just keeps like getting delayed or like is in the ether but never actually happens. Hopefully this one actually kind of gets going. So, number 2, in somewhat expected but still jarring news this week, website The Gamer reported that the PS3, PSP, and PS Vita online stores will be closing this summer, according to their sources. This would mean that players would no longer be able to purchase digital versions of any games on those storefronts, although it is unclear if previously purchased games would still be available for re download. According to their source, the PS3 and PSP stores will be taken offline on July the 2nd, while the Vita store will last a little bit longer until August 27th. The same source claims that Sony will announce the news at the end of this month, so they're running out of time here. I'm assuming maybe they mean next week. But I know this doesn't necessarily affect you, but what do you make of this? You have any thoughts?
Man, you put out a great tweet earlier this week that was like, better get those games in before the prices skyrocket. Like that's
Oh
a
yeah.
great point. It's gonna be impossible to get
Hmm.
these discs for it's gonna be like when you try to buy college hoops now or NCAA football and they're like $150 for a
Right.
copy. It's gonna be like that.
Right.
To be honest, I'm surprised the PSP and the PS3 stores were still up anyway. That's I mean, at this point, you're 2 generations behind on the console. The PSP is a generation behind the
Yeah.
Vita, so you're a little bit behind there. The Vita thing,
Yeah.
there's some diehard Vita guys like you. It sucks for you guys, but
Oh
from
yeah.
from their standpoint, I guess it makes sense because 'cause you're just kinda cutting the fat is kinda how they look at it, I'm sure.
Yeah. So the PlayStation Portable came out in 2005 and then the PS3 came out in 2006. So you're talking 15 and 16 years. So those I understand, but the Vita came out in 2012. So we're not even to 10 years yet. So it seems like it's pretty early to close the store on Vita. But at the same time, I think there's only like 9 million Vitas like sold like lifetime. So I'm not sure if maybe because of that reason is they just feel comfortable doing it. If this is true, if they go forward with it, but this is crushing for especially the Vita owners. But maybe it won't be such a big deal if we're still able to re-download everything. I think that's the biggest thing, especially for me personally, as someone who has a lot of Vita games that I can't keep on the system itself because the memory cards are stupid expensive and you only have so much room. I'm really hoping that I'll still be able to go back to my download list and get whatever I need. But I'm sure that if they do go forward with this, they'll make an announcement and they will make it clear of when the date is going to happen, and they'll tell us if what functionality exactly that we're going to lose. So we'll have time to adjust. We'll have time to, get bigger memory cards and load it up, or, download. The thing that I would recommend people do if this becomes a reality, and I'll say it again if it is announced to be true, is to download Content Manager onto your computer, and then you can download whatever games to your Vita, and then connect them to your PC, and you can transfer it all over, back it up basically to your computer, wipe your Vita, and do it all over again. And you can just get everything saved to your computer so you'll always have it. I can't really imagine that they will not allow you to re-download games that you own. I just don't really see that being a thing because that just doesn't seem fair at all, especially since there's a new game coming out on Vita in April, like April 22nd, I think there's a new game. And supposedly that's going to be the last game published on the platform. But I don't know. I just don't think that would be right or fair for them to not let us re-download things that we've already paid money for and bought. But
Yeah.
Sony's done worse, so we'll see. But I mean, I understand the PS3 and PSP going because those are 15 and 16, but the Vita only being 9 years old, I don't know about that one, but hopefully it sticks around. But if at the very least, us Vita guys, us Vita Island jabronis need our download list to stay intact so that we can re-download the shit that we've already bought, that we've already owned.
That seems like more of a Microsoft move to cut you out than
Yeah.
a Sony move.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is that this is such a stark contrast between PlayStation and Xbox because Xbox, they're backwards compatible all the way back to the original Xbox,
Right.
So that's just like a really stark contrast between the two, which I'm actually in the camp and of the mind that backwards compatibility to an extent, to a certain point in the ecosystem doesn't matter. Like it's cool that we can play PS4 games. Like that's cool. Like it should be that way. But I'm not really on the boat that says, "Oh, we should be able to play PS1 games on PS5." Like
Yeah, I don't
I
need
don't
to
know.
play
I mean, if we
Driver.
could, yeah. I mean, if we could, don't get me wrong. If I could play Driver, I might play it once in a blue moon. But I'm not really. It's not the end of the world for me. And
Yeah.
I
Most of them
I
don't
don't
hold
know.
up anyway.
They really don't. I mean, they really don't. Even some PS4 games don't really hold up. So, anyway, we'll see what happens. We'll see if news comes out next week, like the Gamer reports, the website. Well, maybe we'll have more to talk about on next week's episode. So, anyway, number 3, Sony announced this week the appointment of or movement of several senior leaders in a response to Sony Interactive Entertainment Deputy President John Codera moving to a new role leading digital transformation at Sony. As we reported earlier in the year, Codera leaves SIE after years developing the PlayStation Network and creating PlayStation Plus, while also serving as president and CEO from 2017 to 2019, excuse me. As for the changes, Hideaki Nishino now reports directly to Jim Ryan as the senior vice president for platform experience. Nishino is who introduced us to the PS5 user interface last year, as well as the guy who recently revealed the next generation of PSVR. Michael Pattinson, the vice president of global third party relations, will now report directly to Nishino. Pattinson is heavily involved in third party business partnerships and is a strong supporter of indie developers. And finally, although far less consequential, SIE deputy president and chief financial officer Kazuhiko Takeda will be retiring after a 40-year tenure with Sony. So, any not huge news, but still
Mhm.
noteworthy. They're making some movement over there, some changing some things around. Any thoughts on it?
You're getting pretty good at these Japanese names.
It's taking some practice.
Um, on one hand, these are like, with Kadera moving on, these are kind of forced moves. It's not like Sony planned to do these moves.
Yeah.
I'm always a little hesitant when there's a reworking in the top structure of something that's already working well. I always get a little
Right.
apprehensive about what it could change, but
Yeah.
in this situation, it's not as alarming, obviously. The thing I think is really interesting is that Pattinson is now directly reporting to Nishino, and with
Mhm.
Pattinson being so involved with these third-party relations, he loves indie, developers, like you said, all these
Mhm.
different business partnerships he's made with these different third parties. It kinda makes me I think that's a pretty clear indicator of something they want to highlight on this generation and probably the next. I think that him being promoted kind of, you know, I think it adds a lot of weight to what we've kinda seen them do a little bit with some of these other parties they bought into.
Yeah, I think there's something to that. I mean, really at the beginning of PS4, they were really pushing, indie games. And in the past couple of years, they've taken the head of PlayStation Studios, Shuhei Yoshida. I was blanking there for a second. Shuhei is now the head of their indie initiative, at
Mhm.
PlayStation. And that's a heavy hitter
Right.
for it to be behind that. And so then now they move this guy kind of into a more senior role who's supported indies in the past, and I think that we're starting to see that a little bit too. They're showing quite a bit of indie games in their state of plays.
Mhm.
They had several at the PS5 reveal event last summer, so I think there's something to that. I think they want to try to get back to that a little bit as far as supporting those games,
Right.
because I think what they're finding, especially right now when we've got gaps in the lineup, so to speak, due to COVID or with the games anyway. I mean, we haven't we'll have gone from Demon Souls and Spider Man on PS5 until the next first party game will be, well, not even Returnal. Returnal is a second party game.
Right.
The next first party game will be Ratchet and Clank in June. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? So they've
Yeah.
got these indie games. They've got these indie games like Returnal from Housemarque, and then some of these other smaller ones that have already come out. They're kind of gap fillers, like
Mhm.
Oddworld Soulstorm, which comes out next month on PS Plus and stuff like that. So I
Right.
think they've got to cultivate those sort of things. I think there is a little bit of something to that there,
Yeah.
but
And if they're they talked about concentrating on these single player first party big time narratives, and if those take a while to develop and make actually good games, so they
right.
need these second and third parties to fill in. They need them to stay like relevant.
Number four, lots of new details leaked out this week for the upcoming PS4 and PS5 co op PvE shooter Rainbow Six Parasite. Website PlayStation Universe reported that a technical test was streamed for a short time on Twitch before being taken down, but it was long enough for us to learn that the game will include cross platform play and appears to be a fully fleshed out version of the Outbreak mode that was in Rainbow Six Siege for a time during 2018. Players will fight against a mutant menace called the Archaeans, and the game will include, at minimum, the following operators: Alibi, Ella, Finka, Lion, Tachanka, and Vigil. So I don't know how somebody leaks a game on Twitch, like streams a game on Twitch. I don't know how that happens. I guess it was some random like game tester went rogue or whatever. But I'm
Love it.
actually I'm kind of excited about this because I've
Right.
gotten back into Siege. But what do you think?
Oh, I'm excited to be terrible at it. I'm always down
Yeah,
for a new. I'm always down for a co-op shooter. I would, from what I'm allowed to see that I wasn't allowed to see, quote unquote. I think it looks interesting. Uh,
yeah.
One of the things I thought was interesting here is, and this is a little bit into the minutia, but they're called the Archaeans.
Hmm.
Homer, when he wrote the Iliad and the Odyssey, he uses the term Achaeans without the R to describe
Okay.
Greeks. So in those two epics, there's three
Hmm.
different three different groups, or three different titles he calls the Greeks. I thought that was interesting because it kind of ties into that a little bit. And then the
That's
last
interesting.
name there on the list is Vigil. So what is Vigil? That a normal vigil would be, you honor something that's dead or moved on or an event or something like that. But it is one
Mhm.
letter away from Virgil. Virgil wrote the Aeneid, which is about
Yeah.
Aeneas, who was a guy in the Iliad, which was written by
Mhm.
Homer. So he is an Achaean. So my brain that loves patterns saw that and thought it was really interesting.
Somebody like you as a writer over there at Ubisoft. Some
There's
former
no way
history
that
major.
If that's connected, I will be amazed. But I thought it when I first saw both of those things, I was like, it would be that's a cool Easter egg that you could do, especially if the
Yeah.
visual character is like Virgil in some ways, like he was in the book. So,
Yeah, I agree. I love the by the way, just my only last comment because I don't really have much else to say beyond what you said, but I love the name Rainbow Six Parasite. First of all, it's way better than
yes,
Rainbow Six Quarantine, way better than that.
right.
And I just think I don't know, that's an awesome name to me, like Rainbow Six Parasite. People are saying they came out and said that they were going to change it, that that's not what it was going to be called. Like they're going to change it again, that was just a
Uh,
placeholder. I really hope they don't. They don't need to touch that. It doesn't get any better than that. Number five, PlayStation had a successful run at the 2021 BAFTA Game Awards, Travis, several exclusives taking home awards. The Last of Us Part 2 won Best Animation, Best Performer in a Leading Role for Laura Bailey as Abby, and Game of the Year. Ghost of Tsushima won the audio achievement category and Sackboy Big Adventure won Best British Game as well as Best Family Game. And then finally, Spider Man Miles Morales won Best Music. So, what do you think?
I tried to find the tweet I saw to verify my claim, and I couldn't find it. It disappeared. But somebody who
Hmm.
worked on Ghost of Tsushima, and I looked up everybody. I looked up Fox. I accidentally looked up Zach Collins from Suicide Squad because because
uh,
he made the movie because he made the movie Sucker Punch, and then my brain was like he works for Sucker Punch. But anyway,
and then you
um,
mean Zack Snyder?
yes,
You said
Zach
Zach
Collins plays
Collins.
basketball. Yeah, he plays
He
whatever, man.
does.
They're the same person. They're both white. Anyway, so,
Uh
um,
huh.
somebody that works for Sucker Punch and worked on Ghost of Tsushima, after all of this came out about, The Last of Us winning all these awards, he pointed out, he said, "Look, Last of Us is winning all these awards, that these writers and these, different media members are voting on, but Ghost of Tsushima keeps winning all the fan awards." It was almost
Hmm.
like I don't know, it was almost like when an NBA player is, like, talking about how the players should vote for the All-Star team and not the fans, but vice versa. I just thought that
Yeah.
was an interesting take, almost like he felt slighted. So, on one hand,
Yeah.
I can see what he means, but on the other hand, it makes me wonder if the next Ghost of Tsushima there'll be some motivation there.
Yeah. The BAFTA Game Awards are like probably the biggest video game industry awards because unlike the Game Awards that Jeff Keighley does, like those are all just fan vote stuff.
Mhm.
Like I guess it's good to get recognition, but the BAFTA awards are voted on, to your point, by other game developers. So they do a
Right.
fan
It's like the
award.
Oscars.
Yeah, it's like the Oscars, and they do a fan like game of the year, but other than that, everything else is voted on by your
Mhm.
peers. So, it's a big deal. It's like game recognizes
Right.
game. So these are a much bigger deal than the other stuff. So it's cool to get that these studios and games have been recognized, and
Right.
rightfully
I mean,
so.
it's excited to win any BAFTA. If I worked on a game, like, I would be excited if I worked on Spider-Man. That's awesome that you won a BAFTA. Like like your peers voting on you that you win.
Hmm.
It doesn't get a lot. What kind of other kind of recognition do you need? Like that really solidifies your place.
Right. Number six, we have several news nuggets here, Travis, and feel free to join me in here as always. The first nugget here is a big one. It's a big one. Big fucking one. Housemark announced that their upcoming PS5 exclusive Returnal has gone gold, which means no more delays. The game will be out on April 30th. Can't fucking wait.
And by the way, I watched some more gameplay today.
Uh huh.
And I watched a little bit of a breakdown. A media guy, I forgot his name. So shout out to nameless media guy. He was basically talking about how the twin stick shooter version. This is like a 3D twin stick shooter, and it's basically changing. It's going to change the way that people make and people play third person shooters. And I thought that was,
Interesting.
and I didn't really think about it like that. But then as you watch the gameplay and he's saying that, you can kind of see what he means. Like it is a twin stick 3D shooter that it has a lot of the feels of their normal side scrolling twin stick shooter, but it's 3D if that makes sense. It looks
Yeah,
awesome. I'm not sure I want to pay full price to shit my pants. That's my issue with it still.
I get it.
But
I
the
get
more I
it.
watch it, the more I think it looks fun.
Yeah, it definitely looks awesome. I'm going to stand by my prediction that it's going to be the first. Well, it might not be the first, but it's going to be over 90 on Metacritic. I'm going to stand by that. I don't know. There's no sense in backing down now. Fuck, we're almost there. Second nugget here. According to new job listings at PlayStation's London studio, the first party developer seems to be working on a AAA PS5 game. Travis, the job description for a senior graphics programmer states, quote unquote, you will push the boundaries of the PS5. For reference, London studio in the past has been working on PSVR projects, and it's very likely
Mhm.
that they may be working on both a VR project and a PS5 game. But it specifically listed PS5. So what do you think?
Were they were they pushing the boundaries of the VR as well? Or is that just like you can do whatever, just stay in the medium level?
Yeah. Right, right. They did that game that apparently people liked. It was called Blood and Truth on VR that people liked a lot, apparently.
Huh, I didn't realize that. Well, so my thing with this is, I don't. Do you really need to put that in a job description? Like, you will push the bound. Like, of course you should. Of course you should do that with any job. You should push the boundaries of the job to be as good as you can. Seems kind of self-explanatory to me. It's just funny to me
Yeah,
that that's the headline. But
sure.
from a consumer standpoint, I feel like this is like marketing. Like from a consumer standpoint, you read that, and a lot of people are like, "Oh shit, they're really going for it," and it's like, well, of course they are.
Right. Next nugget here, Travis. Death Stranding developer Kojima Productions is likely to announce its next game very soon, according to art director Yoji Shinkawa. How'd I do on that one? Pretty good, huh?
Yeah, we already knew Yoji because it's close to Yoshi.
Right. So the this is also big news, but it's just not big enough for me to make a whole fucking story out of it. But the big question here is this going to be a PlayStation exclusive game, or is it going to be multi-platform? Because we still to this day don't really know the details of the deal between Kojima Productions and PlayStation. You know, outside of
Mhm.
that Death Stranding, that they owed them Death Stranding, that Sony owns the IP to that, and obviously the game's exclusive to PlayStation. But we don't know if Kojima is supposed to give PlayStation another exclusive game, two more exclusive games. We really don't know. So
Right.
that's kind of the interesting tidbit here that's hanging out there. Also, Travis, Sony began taking pre-orders for the PS5 this week in Egypt for the low price of 15,999 Egyptian pounds, or just over 1,000 US dollars. You gonna pick up one of those Egyptian ones?
Your mom weighs 16,000 Egyptian pounds.
Oh, she's worth way more than that though. She might weigh that, but she's worth more than
Yeah, yeah. I think a human heart's worth that much.
Oh, those dudes on Twitter were pissed about it too. Like the five Egyptian guys that are going to order one of those they were
Mhm.
pissed on Twitter on whatever thread I was
Yeah.
looking at.
Mohammed Salah's not happy.
He's pissed. Yeah. Military sim first person shooter 6 Days in Fallujah released a gameplay trailer this week that showed the game will feature procedural battlefield generation so that every mission plays differently. Did you happen to see this? I think this was on IGN.
Yeah, I watched it. One thing that's been coming out about this game is that people were complaining that it might trigger PTSD, that it relives all these horrors from the war, and it's like, you know, did these World War II veterans not see Call of Duty World at War? Like any
Right.
war game you make is can trigger that. Like I think that's inherently built within the system. But
Yeah.
yes, I watched the trailer. My thoughts were I love that things populate in the background,
Hmm.
or each game it populates differently. I think that's awesome. I love that. It keeps it
Yeah.
fresh. There are things I really liked, like going into the rooms and the light change, like it's super bright and you're in a dark room, it's hard to see outside. All that
Right.
stuff seemed realistic. The guy on the trailer shooting sucked at aiming. He would like pull up the sights and be looking off at the moon. That was really driving me
Yeah.
nuts. But I did
Yeah.
like that you could like point, you could point directions like, break in the door, put down suppressing fire, I'm gonna flank. All that seemed
Mm,
real. I didn't think the guns looked too bad. I thought they looked pretty good. There's no HUD. That really anytime you have a sim, no HUD is part of that. So, yeah, I
right.
think it looks interesting. I need to see more, but at this point, I'm interested.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I thought it was kind of neat. We'll see how it comes out in the end, though. Also, website IGN reported that the first season of HBO's The Last of Us adaptation will cover the events of the first game, but we'll see some episodes "quote unquote" deviate greatly from the game, according to Naughty Dog's Neil Druckmann. It also appears that there will be less hardcore action and more of a focus on character drama. Website Push Square reported that an open beta for Resident Evil Reverse will go live on PS4 on April 8th. Downloads will open on April 6th. That Shadow of the Colossus inspired title Pray for the Gods from No Matter Studios will release on PS4 and PS5 sometime around the end of April. That publisher Nacon, here it is, Travis, is diving into the life simulator genre of games with a flurry of new titles coming out in 2021 and 2022, which include the likes of Train Life, Hotel Life, Chef Life, Surgeon Life, and Architect Life.
I gotta tell you, I think train life might have some legs because there's some
Yeah,
dudes who fucking love trains.
yeah,
Like,
that
this
train
could be a thing.
simulator game is big, or whatever that's called.
My thinking here's what I think when I read these. By train life, how many can I derail in a row?
Yeah.
By surgeon life, how many people can I kill? That's what I immediately think.
Yeah.
Like, remove the tumor. I took out a whole kidney. What am I doing?
Right. I don't know if I can do surgeon life. I mean, like blood, guts, spitting ass, it doesn't really bother me per se, but like it kind of grosses me out. Like, you know what I mean? I don't
Yeah,
know.
the surgery gets me. It's a little different when you're, like, inside of a cavity and that it's a different
Yeah.
type of blood.
Yeah. I agree. Also, Travis, website Pushware reported that throwback platformer A Hat in Time is getting a PS5 upgrade on March 31st, which will boost the game to 60 frames per second. The update will also add the game's DLC chapters. That Hitman 3 will be getting a 7-part DLC campaign covering the 7 deadly sins. The first piece drops on March 30th for $5, where players can buy the complete bundle for $30. That the PS5 version of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 will support 60 frames per second at 4K, 120 frames at 1080p, 3D audio, PS5 activity cards, and DualSense haptic feedback and adaptive triggers. I can't fucking talk right now. Jesus. Also, that former Ghostwire Tokyo creative director Akumi Nakamura, God, I'm getting good at this shit, has
You are.
formed a new studio and is developing a darkly comedic new game. It's weird.
Yeah.
That Redditors dug up a Sony patent which may allow for trophies on games through emulators of legacy platforms like the PS1 and PS2. So we may be able to go back and get trophies on, Fighting Force and win back, Travis.
Yeah. That might be the only way that I would play these older games. I mean, to be honest, just to
Right.
collect some trophies, that I missed out because they didn't exist.
Yeah, I agree. Push Square also reported that Cooking Mama Cookstar stealth released on the PlayStation Store on Thursday night for $39.99. So go ahead. I know you're
Yeah.
excited about picking that up.
It's weird that when people ghost releasing is such an odd thing to me. Um, I read
Yeah.
this as I read this as Cooking Mama Coke Star, and I just pictured, like, young Jeezy and his mom.
Uh huh.
It's just really
It
cool in my
really
head.
it really is weird they gave stealth release. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, they had to have known that it was coming to the store, like at least the day of or the day before. Like, put something out. You know what I mean? Like, don't
Yeah.
let people just like don't let people just like get on there like, well, Cooking Mama. Oh, okay. Like, I mean, I don't know. Whatever. Also, Push Square reported that stealth strategy game Shadow Tactics Blades of the Shogun will be getting a new standalone expansion titled Aiko's. Oh, there it is.
Oh, you're
Finally,
doing so good.
Aiko's Choice sometime this year. Website PlayStation Lifestyle reported that Media Molecules studio director Sayoban Reddy will receive a BAFTA Fellowship award at this year's BAFTA Games Awards, so it already has happened, and it is the highest honor for an individual. They also reported that publisher Capcom is still shipping over 1 million units of Resident Evil 7 annually, despite it having launched more than 4 years ago. It's impressive. That video game preservation group Hidden Palace has released over 700 unique PlayStation 2 game prototypes and early builds on PC, such as an E3 prototype of Crash Bandicoot and the Wrath of Cortex. I thought this was a cool story. These guys just
Right.
got their hands on all this shit and they're just like putting them out there for people to download or buy, one of the two.
This was a niche I kind of fell into today by accident, coincidentally. I was watching a video about one of the Sonics that came out in the mid '90s, and
Oh, yeah.
it had like a built-in thing where the Sonic could roll. You could
Yeah.
jump and roll, and
Yeah.
then when the fans made the emulator, they built that in, and it was kind of a coincidence, and then that sent me down a wormhole of like game prototypes and what they looked like and how much they've changed until they go gold, and that is a fascinating like that's a fascinating rabbit hole to go down when you're bored. Like it's just crazy how the beginning concept can flip so much.
Right. Right. whoever this is, PlayStation Lifestyle, that's who's reporting here, Travis. They reported that Embracer Group, the video game publishing and development conglomerate, has raised another $890 million in capital to finance additional acquisitions, so they're not done yet.
I think it's fair to ask how the hell do you raise $1 billion? Almost.
They said so. I was curious and I did look this up. So what they did was an additional they sold additional shares of stock, some
Mm.
type of stock like a Series B. I don't know what that means, but they sold 890 million dollars worth of shares basically of stock to get more capital to go out and buy. Who the fuck knows at this point? Is there anybody left? I mean, there can't be anybody left, but I guess we'll see. PlayStation Lifestyle also reported that publisher THQ Nordic, which is a subsidiary of Embracer Group, has created a new development studio in the Czech Republic of all places called Ashbourne Games, which is working on a new historical strategy RPG IP, which actually sounds pretty up my
It does
alley.
sound
So
cool.
I'm gonna keep my eye on that. They also reported that a sequel to the Yakuza spin-off game Judgment may be in development after Sega filed for trademarks for Lost Judgment and Judgment Sees the Truth. Website PlayStation Universe reported that Battlefield 6 is currently scheduled to be revealed sometime in May, according to GamesBeat reporter Jeff Grubb. So, we're maybe a couple months away. I was hoping April, but I'll take May.
I can live with it. You bet I'm coming up
Yeah,
in May.
that's right. Also, PlayStation Universe reported that news about the Elder Scrolls Online for PS5 will apparently be revealed on March 31st. That developer Mundfish released a photo mode trailer for their post-apocalyptic first-person shooter Atomic Heart after a period of radio silence. The game is still set to release on PS4 and PS5 sometime this year. The game looks pretty cool. That Oddworld Soulstorm will run natively at 60 frames per second in 1440p on the PlayStation 5, which will be upsampled to match the display's resolution. That new rumors suggest this year's Call of Duty game is tentatively titled Call of Duty World War II Vanguard and is in development at Sledgehammer Games.
I saw an interesting tweet and it put into words what I've always thought, but I've never really articulated. But why do people think like military first person shooters can only be 2 years in front of us or World War II?
Right. Yeah, it's fucking rinse and repeat. It's so annoying. The thing is, Sledgehammer, the last Call of Duty game that they made on their own was Call of Duty World War II in 2017 or 18. And
Right.
now they're gonna make another one. Like, I don't know, man. I hear you. Like, we still haven't. Nobody will touch Vietnam, I guess. Not really.
Right.
Or what? Desert Storm. I guess nobody will touch Desert Storm.
The Fallujah games. That's why the Fallujah game's so surprising.
I know, and it's a big fucking deal with that because people were all pissed off about white phosphorus and everything. Like, dude, I
Mhm.
get it. Like, we did bad shit over there, but there's bad shit in every war. Like every bad shit, war crimes happen in every war on every side. I mean, it
It's
just
part of it.
does. It just
Yeah.
does. I mean, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but like that doesn't mean that you can't tell the story or you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, do they think bad shit didn't happen during World War II? Like, I don't know. But
Yeah.
fucking didn't they
I
use
don't know, the
mustard gas in
Holocaust,
World War II or is that World War One?
both.
Okay.
That was the Germans started that shit, go figure. Yeah, read about Stalin and the gulags.
Right.
There you
I
go.
don't know.
They have the gulag on World whatever it's called, on fucking
Right.
Call of Duty, and it's not a
Yeah.
problem. It's like, because those people are dead. Like, when people from Fallujah are dead, they'll be able to make the game without anybody complaining.
Right. I agree. So I got off on a tangent, but anyway, let's see here. They also reported that retro inspired horror RPG Sunshine Manor will release sometime this fall. That action chess game Auto Chess will be coming natively to PlayStation 5 on March 30th, featuring support for haptic feedback, improved loading times, and crossplay. And then a new report from Giant Freaking Robot, which is a great, I don't know what the fuck that is, but that's great,
It's a great
claims that
name.
Sony is developing a movie adaptation of their hardcore action RPG Demon Souls. So another one might be on the way here, Travis. They also reported that the senior gameplay designer on Cyberpunk 2077, Andrei Zawadsky, is resigning from CD Projekt Red after 8 years with the company. Cyberpunk probably
Man,
got to him. It would me too.
that's crazy. Did something happen with the gameplay on that game?
Right. I hadn't heard. They also reported that World War One Isanzo Italian Front will be releasing on PS4 and PS5 sometime this year. The game comes from the same developer as the Verdun and Tannenberg games. This is right up your alley.
Did I send you the trailer? I watched the trailer today. I can't remember.
You did. Yeah, you did.
So the trailer, first of all, the Tannenberg and Verdun game. The thing is like I think they're for a certain type of person because they're fairly realistic. And Battlefield One was obviously really realistic, especially with the sounds and the environments. But this is like I think they capture the soldier level view much better, if that makes sense when you watch it, based off of stuff I've read
Sure.
and watched. The cool part is this is they're going up the Alps and they have skis on their
Oh
backpack. You can
yeah.
see it in their kit. And, the stuff that they're wearing, like the armor that they're wearing, all that is legit. It's perfect. The wire cutters they're using to get through the, barbed wire, all that is spot on, and it looks chaotic as hell because it's like especially in that war, you would get so exposed if you moved. So, anyway, it looks interesting, but those games do play
Yeah.
different than other first person shooters.
Right. Yeah, it's not as polished. Also, Travis, Ubisoft revealed their roadmap for Watch Dogs Legion, which includes Aiden Pierce from Watch Dogs 1 coming sometime in June, and an Assassin's Creed crossover event in August, and that puzzle platformer Hoa will be coming to PS4 and PS5 this July from developer PM Studios. Website Gamatsu reported that the Aftershock expansion for Ion Fury will release on PS4 sometime this summer. That beat 'em up game Asterix and Obelix, Slap Them All, will launch on PS4 sometime this fall, and it
Uh,
looks kind of neat. It actually looks like kind of like that Cuphead game. It looks
oh,
kind of
yeah,
cool.
okay.
Yeah. Gamatsu also reported that Pinball FX will come to PS5 sometime this year and will incorporate a battle royale multiplayer mode.
I might end up with the pinball effects.
Oh yeah,
I love pinball. I love pinball. I've always loved it. I
yeah,
don't know why. I want a pinball machine, but I don't know where to put it.
yeah. Sure you do. Just put it right up your ass. Uh, Komatsu also reported that Immortals Phoenix Risings, Myth of the Eastern Realm DLC is now available. It's another stealth release. That co op action adventure game Biped will add a new online matchmaking system and level editor and a free update coming in quarter 4 of this year. That publisher THQ Nordic officially opened pre orders this week for upcoming action RPG Biomutant, which looks cool and it launches on PS4 on May 25th. A new gameplay trailer was also released if you're interested. Gamatsu reported that monster collecting and farming action RPG Monster Harvest will launch digitally on PS4 on June 3rd. A physical edition for PS4 will launch on June 4th in Europe and June 8th in North America. Not very often that a game launches in Europe or North America. Gamatsu reported that mountain climbing adventure roguelike Insurmountable, which is a great name, will launch on PS4 sometime later this year.
I wrote down that, that's also that's also our ability with women. It's insurmountable.
Yes, that's correct. Gamatsu reported that retro classics game Joe and Mac, Caveman Ninja, has
Mhm.
released on PS4. God bless, what are they doing? Publisher 612 Entertainment plans to bring all retro classics titles to PS4 eventually. That puzzle platformer World Splitter will launch on PS4 on April 22nd. That vertical platformer roguelite Rising Hell will release on PS4 sometime in May. That action strategy hybrid game Smelter will launch on PS4 on April 22nd. Smelter, I hardly know her. Gamatsu reported that Oddworld Soulstorm will get a physical retail release on July 6th worldwide. Although, don't forget it'll be free on PlayStation 5 for PS Plus subscribers in a couple weeks. They also reported that couch co op alchemy game Potion Party will launch on PS4 on April 8th. That co op zombie shooter Back for Blood has been delayed from June 22nd to October 12th. It's the first, or it's not the last game that'll be delayed. They also reported that EA's competitive dodgeball multiplayer game Knockout City will receive a crossplay open beta from April 2nd through April 4th. That firefighting game Ember will launch on PS4 sometime this summer. That cooking adventure game Epic Chef has added a PS4 version and will release sometime this summer. That open world survival simulation game Green Hell will release in June on PlayStation 4, and that actually kind of looks interesting, but scary. Gamatsu reported that co-op espionage adventure game Operation Tango will launch on PS4 and PS5 on June 1st for $19.99. That World War One society survival game War Hospital was announced for PS5 and is due out in quarter 4 of 2022. So we're a ways away, but that
Right.
game, I saw
Looks cool.
screenshots of it. It looks interesting. Yeah, it looks cool. It looks interesting. It's kind of, up my alley, one of those management
Mhm.
kind of simulation games. Looks cool.
There's a trailer that just really gives you exposition, and it shows you the
Hmm.
artwork, and the
Yeah.
artwork is super cool. You should look up the screenshots for sure, but, I think
Yeah.
it could be really cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep my eye on that one. And then Gamatsu reported that tactical game Fire Commander was announced for PS4 and PS5 and will release sometime later this year. That science fiction horror game Haunted Space was announced for PS5, but no release date was given. That 2D fighting game Melty Blood type Lumina will launch on PS4 sometime this year. That post apocalyptic point and click adventure game Life of Delta was announced for consoles, but no release date was given. That episodic narrative adventure game Arctic Awakening was announced for consoles and is due out sometime in 2022. That publisher Koch Media, developer Bloober Team have partnered to publish physical editions of Observer, System Redux, and The Medium. And finally, Travis, Gamatsu reported that publisher 2K Games has acquired Hookbang's Austin-based video game division. The studio will be branded as Visual Concepts Austin and will employ hundreds of staff to support the NBA 2K franchise as well as 2K's publishing division. And that is all for the news this week.
How many guys do you need to make the same game every year?
I had the same thought. I don't know how many people they need working on that game. I really don't. The thing is, as we've talked about, they have all these people working on the game, and they still can't fix all the problems with it, or they just don't care to fix them.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
I mean, what does it matter if you have if you have 1,000 people working on the game? Doesn't matter if you can't fix it. So, whatever. Anyway, I kick it over to you for the new game releases this week.
Already on March the 23rd, we had Arkham Horror: Mother's Embrace, which is not really Batman related, as I assumed. It's kind of like you crossed Sherlock Holmes and Clue. There's some interesting characters. It's kind of interesting. Also on the 23rd, we had Ground Zero Texas, which we talked about a few weeks ago.
Uh huh.
My Mind, Horned Knight, Hunting Simulator 2, Overcooked All You Can Eat, Sanity of Morris. On the 24th, we have Paradise Lost, which is not the HBO documentary about the Memphis 3 murder case.
Mm,
However, it is kind of interesting if you watch. It's not a long game. It's kind of an easy platinum. I think it's like maybe 3 or 4 hours, but it is
okay.
interesting if you look it up. It's I think it might be worth looking into. On the
Mm,
25th, we have Animal Doctor, which looks terrible. Then we have Black Legend, which I thought was actually really interesting looking. When I looked it up, I was expecting like Black Panther, and instead I got you're kind of like in the Middle Ages. And there's swords, and it's like it's what do you call it? It's a I guess like a point and click. Like you come up to some
mm,
enemies you want to fight, and you like so calm you would like or tell them where to
okay.
go, and then move one
It's
block,
like a
and then they fight.
tactical kind of game or something.
Yeah, so it's actually pretty interesting. The environment looked really cool, and the story seemed pretty interesting. But I just don't play those types of games typically. But that one did pique my interest. Also on the 25th, we
Hmm.
have Bladed Fury, El Hio, or is it
El
He Ho? I guess it's
Hio.
El He. There you go. Evil Inside, Maluk, Dark Demon, Tinker Races, and Tinker Races I was reading about is considered one of the best top-down toy racing games because they're toy cars. So not a big
Really?
market, but you want to be number one in your market.
That's right.
On the 26th, we have Balan Wonderland, It Takes Two, K's and the Wild Masks, Starbase Startopia, and Tony
Forgot
Hawk's
about
Pro
that game.
Skater 1 and 2.
Sweet.
Another star simulator for you.
Yeah. It is. Today was a pretty good day. March 26th. There's a lot of heat there, or heat. Not for me, but there is some heat there for those of you out there. So hope you enjoy. And that is all for the new game releases this week. Travis, let's start to wrap things up here. Let's talk about what we're going to be playing in the week ahead. What we have going on. What's on your list? What's on your mind? What's on your radar?
Well, I'm sure we'll keep playing some Battlefield. I like to play that tonight, I guess. Get some headshots in, drive some vehicles into the water and flip them over and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
sounds good.
I haven't decided what I want to do on FIFA yet, which dynasty. I think I'm just gonna play them. I'm gonna wing it, whatever I feel like at that time. I want to see what
Yeah.
happens with the Australian League the next year. I want to see like what I get into, like as far as Champions League or whatever. I mean, I have
Hmm.
long way to go. I'm gonna have to win out basically to have a chance. And that might be asking a lot, but we'll see. You never know.
Yeah.
I have preseason testing next week for one of my racing leagues. I'm the only driver in the Audi team right now, so we'll see how it goes. There was an endurance race today that the league, not really a league, but well, it is a league. They would alternate. So they would do like, F1 races, and then every fourth week they would do a endurance race on GT Sport. And
Mhm.
they deleted that league today because not enough people showed up. I didn't show up. I was tired and didn't care. Um, so as far as I'm concerned, delete the fucking thing. Look, like the thing with these people that sim race and do these leagues is there's always so much bullshit, and that's why most people don't want to do
Yeah.
them. And the leagues that are the best are the ones that are ran by the platform, whether it's GT Sport or iRacing or Assetto Corsa. When they make their own little leagues you can sign up for and you qualify based on, your rating and your safety and all that stuff, those seem to do well,
Right.
and they seem to be structured better. When you are just letting people make the game and they create their own lobby, it's really hit or miss. And there are really, really good leagues, but those leagues, those drivers are good drivers, and they don't really have a lot of openings for a reason. So,
Right.
yeah, as far as I'm concerned, like, it kind of takes the flavor out of it.
Yeah, I get it. It's tough to do something, right like that and to stay well organized and have people that are, committed to it and committed to doing it right. But I'm gonna play FIFA and Battlefield as well. I'm probably just gonna on FIFA, I'll probably play whichever one is, I'm in the mood for as far as whatever is less work at the time.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And then I do intend to finish the Fuser campaign this week. And then I've been meaning for a couple weeks now. I really want to play Planet Coaster to see what that game's about. Now is the perfect time to do it because it's got about a month left before it really picks up. So I'm gonna try to make a point to play some of that this week as well. That's probably about it. That's I don't know. I've thought about playing Rainbow Six Siege again lately, but I don't know. I think I'm going to try and focus on FIFA and Battlefield, but then when it's just me, Fuser, and then that Planet Coaster game. But I can tell you right now, the Planet Coaster game is going to suck me in. So that's kind of
I
why I
know.
haven't actually. It's kind of why I haven't done it yet because I like on those sorts of games for me, like 1 hour turns into 4 hours. So
Right.
yeah, I don't know.
That's
I just
that's why I play Hitman in chunks.
yeah. You need to
I'll
finish that.
probably I know, I'll probably play it this weekend because my wife's going out of town, so I'll probably play it this weekend. I don't have anything else to do, but that's what happens with me on Hitman is, like, I get sucked in and, like, it'll say that I beat the level in 30 minutes because if you just played it straight through and ignore my saves, yeah, I played it in 30 minutes, but I'll have, like,
Right.
6 saves where I can go back and try different things. So it really takes me 3 or 4 hours to play one level because I'm trying everything, like, "Oh, well, you know, from my second save, I killed him this way and got 6 stars. Well, let me go back and reload this point and try it this way. Oh, only got 2. I'll go back, "Oh, I can't
Right.
do it that way. I'm not good enough." And, like, that's what I end up doing. I'm, like, sweating. Like, literally, I'll start sweating. So, like, yeah,
You gotta
it
take it
takes a
easy
lot out
over
of
there.
me.
It's just getting fucking worked up over there on over Agent 47. Well, Travis, let's get out of here. I think we've done enough. Let's put a bow on this bitch. So if you guys enjoyed the episode, we would beg you, we would plead with you to please subscribe so that you don't miss an episode. You get it right in your feed there, right up your ass there on Monday mornings on your podcast app. And if you guys would
Right
be
up
so
your ass
kind
and to
as
the
to leave
left.
us a review or right up your ass to the left, if you would be so kind as to leave us a review or a rating, the little stars down there, just, maybe hit 5 stars. I don't know. Or 4 is cool. Or hell, 3 would be fine. Whatever you're feeling like. And then possibly leave us a comment on
Anything less than
YouTube
4,
if
you
you're
can fuck
listening
off.
there. That's right. Just don't bother. You got anything less than 4. And then lastly, but certainly not leastly, if you have a friend that you know, a mate, a significant other, a loved one who enjoys playing PlayStation games, but also enjoys keeping up on the PlayStation news, but doesn't have the time to listen to a 2 or 3 or 4 hour podcast, then maybe turn them on to us, and we'll get it all to them in less than 90 minutes every week. That's what we do. All right, we're gonna get out of here. You guys have a good week, and we will talk at you next time.